Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Peter Veth podcast. And I will be honest with you, I don't know what we're going to get into, but we are definitely going to get into some things. But one of the topics in this episode that I really want to talk about is the energy that you are surrounded with. And this goes to the people that you hang out with, the people that you see frequently, and the energy that they carry will affect your vibration. So let's hang tight and cue the intro. Testing mic check. I talk to dead people and I still have time to slay. Dead or alive, I keep it cute. And you're listening to the Peter Veth podcast. I cannot believe we're at the end of August, like towards the end of August. Like, where did summer go? I have to say, though, I have to admit that this year's summer has been a lit for me, but lit in a good way. I don't always get litty like that. It had been really good for me this year. I know that we're not even at the end of the year, but I'm already counting my blessings and the things that I've gone through that was hard, that was good. And it's always good to look back to that from time to time. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you are looking to change and get into something new and looking to do like new projects or something that is really exciting that you have always had in the back of your mind, but you never really put it out there, I always do this where whenever the seasons start shifting, try shifting and changing during the season. And the reason why I'm saying that, because if you think about it, Mother Nature is a gift to us in general. You know, existing on her planet, on her terms, is already powerful enough already for us to be here and wake up and breathe the air. And you step outside, you get to be with nature and animals and the weather that changes and things like that. It's a spiritual thing. And sometimes we take these things for granted and not realize that these tools were given to us by the mother herself. And for that reason, why I say it is so life-changing to shift with the season, because there's already this force of energy that's happening within the season. When I get into like giving readings, there have been times where I sit there and give readings. What I've noticed is that sometimes your spirit guides are telling you to shift or transform. If transform during when the season is changing, it could be spring into summer, it could be summer going into fall, it could be fall going into winter. There is this force of energy that's happening. Have you ever get so excited? And sometimes you're just excited. Some people just get excited because, oh, spring going into summer. Oh my gosh, the season's changing. I get to be in my bikini. I get to be in my swimming trunks and can't wait to be by the beach. You look forward to those things, but there are people who actually doesn't realize that not only that we're looking forward to these things to be by the beach and barbecue and things like that, you are also excited because it moves you. It lighten up your energy. You get a little bit more happier. I know that it's weird to say, like, if people get excited during winter. I've noticed that one of my best friend, I'm talking about him right now, and this is me like reading into his energy and not I'm like looking into his energy right now and not giving him this information, but maybe after this episode I will give him a text message. During the winter he gets really depressed, right? But he doesn't realize that that's when he get the most creative, because everything slowed down for him during the winter season. And he's a musician, and he doesn't realize that he doesn't realize that there is this thing that's happening for him where whenever he get into like a depressive mode, he'll open up his journal and he'll pick up a pen and start writing out his music, his album, his EPs, his singles, and things like that. That is doing something for you. I know that the mood of the energy is not good, but I always say when you are getting creatively in tune, channel that energy, bring that creative juice to light because it changes your mood. Being creative is very healing. This goes out to the topic of like someone who works like 9 to 5 job. You know, you could be a lawyer, you could be in law firm, you could be in real estate. Well, not real estate. Real estate people, they kind of get to be a little bit creative. Let's go back to like doctors and nurses and things like that. They get so caught up into the 9 to 5 that they forget to be creative within their work field or coming back after work. And when I say being creative, it could also be a hobby. And being creative doesn't always mean for you to like pick up a guitar and start learning how to, you know, play guitar or piano or dance or things like that. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you get creative, it could be anything. It could be in work. It could be you being different with the way you lay things out at work, how you come to work. You're being creative, more creative, so that way it can lighten up your mood. These things are tapping into your soul and is making you feel excited, is making you feel more happier. When you do this, you are awakening this inner childhood. And I've always said this too during a lot of my readings. This is what spirit shows me. When you are an adult and I see this flash of you younger, like going into like when you were a child, that's spirit telling me like, hey, you are way in your thoughts right now. Play with the universe. Get excited again. I don't know. Go out and jump into the rain when it's raining. Remind yourself of the past when you were a child, because during those times you were the happiest. We didn't have this bills, this 9 to 5 that we have to worry about. We didn't have to worry or stress out about relationships and being responsible and things like that, having responsibilities. I'm not saying that like that's not what we should be doing and caring for that, but we do have to also be responsible. But play, have fun. And when you do that, you're tapping into like your higher self. You're raising your vibration. You're picking yourself into like a higher frequency when you're channeling your inner child. And I always say people who are creative, who are, let's just say like artists, if you don't know this, you're channeling your childhood because you are having fun when you do the work that, let's just say people who are so in tune with their craftsmanship and they are and they are what you call artists. Artists that like, get into like painting, designing and music and dancing and all of that. They have this ability to always tap into their inner childhood. And this is how they get into their realms of being creative. If you are someone who is not creative and you're looking to be a little bit more creative into it within your life because you're exhausted, you're tired, do something fun. It could be changing your routine. If you have someone if you work with a client, if you are a therapist or anything like that, do something exciting. You'll come to that. And I know that people say that they get lost in their ways, or they say like, I'm lost. I've been soul searching and I've been doing a lot of travelings, but I'm still back to square one. I don't know why I can't find my happiness. But I always say, stay put, chill for a little bit, think about what's happening now, take deep breaths. Sometimes soul searching is not always having to go out there and find your purpose. What if your purpose is to be still right now? What if that soul searching had always been here? Sometimes we think that soul searching is by searching out the materialistic things. I mean, yes, go out into nature and things like that, but some people just do soul searching in the wrong way. But your soul purpose had always been here. And when you tap into yourself again, you'll find it. I've always thought that my soul purpose was to always move out of Lowell and travel and figure out like this next step in my life is when I find an apartment in the city or something, and like I'm young and I'm hip and I'm doing all these fabulous things. It's not it. I'm still here in Lowell, Massachusetts, and I found my soul purpose is to give messages to people connecting with their loved ones. And that stems from me being here. And I've learned that no matter where I'm at, I'm still going to be out there in the world. I'm still getting booked to travel and perform and all of this. Like, it's great. And I'm grateful for that. And that's also being thankful and being appreciative for what's happening with you right now. And I know that I'm going off. I'm just going on a bunch of topics right now. But there's something that's happening there. And I need you to remember that just because we're in our adulthood, whatever the hell you want to call it, that doesn't mean you need to stop having fun. If I like to pride myself in someone who is youthful. When people ask me my age and I tell them, they're like, no way, you're that old. And I'm like, yes way, bitch. And they said, like, you seem so young. And because I work in the beauty industry, people have always asked me, like, what's your skin regimen? I'm like, I don't really have a skin regimen like that. I don't use anything expensive. My skin regimen right now has been a year that I've been using this because my sister-in-law had put me onto this. It's a Dollar Tree. It's only $1.50. It's just your hyaluronic acid cleanser, basic as fuck. But even before that, my skin had always been like this. Throughout my life, my skin wasn't always that great, but I've learned that the reason why what makes me look youthful is because in my mind, in my heart, I'm still a little kid. This is why, like, I always tell people that, like, I'm not your average psychic medium. I like to make people laugh. I still love having fun. At one point, before I dive into this work, when I made the decision to step out into the world to become a professional psychic medium, let me tell you, I didn't want to fucking do it because I'm a goofball. If you were to hang out with me, like, it's not that I don't take things seriously. I love having fun. I love having fun with my peers. And that's what makes me still youthful. And people still think that people always have this perception that I'm younger than what I am. That goes back to having fun with life. It's all about the energy that you surround yourself with, right? So growing up, I had an endless amount of support from my family and friends. I am still friends with people who I had went to kindergarten and grade school, and we're still close friends. Those friends are what I called my heart and soul friends. They are, they were, we were binded by contract since day one in the beginning of time, and they were my supporter. They've always been someone who've always been my biggest cheerleader. They would always hype me up. My family and friends had always been that. They're like my home soul love friends, right? There's that. And then there are your soul friends that also will help you boost your career because they are in the same field of work and they think the same and they act the same. They also want to push you while they also pushing themselves. And then you have the people who've already been up there already, like that's already successful, and they will show you the ropes on getting there. And I've noticed that these collection of three energies, they had always been so important in my life, in my career, is because they have this energy where it's not always about like success, like hustle and grind. I have never been surrounded by people like that, which I'm really thankful, because this whole trend, this whole preach about you gotta hustle and grind, it was never my flow. It was never my thing. I'm someone who is a little bit more laid back. I still do the work, but also still enjoying my life, still enjoying working and hanging out with my family and friends. I never want to slave away with like corporate America or like that hustle and grind flow. Like that's, to me, is exhausting. I want to enjoy the process of getting there, and I'm doing it right now. So I've noticed that three collective energy, which is my soul, home, love, friends, and then I have my soul. I would call this like my soul. How would I say this? my soul passionate friends, let's just call them that, and then I have my soul wisdom friends. Okay, those are the people that have already made it in life. When you can recognize your own personal energy of who you need to surround yourself with, that energy will collectively come to you because it's by contract, and they're going to get you there. Let's just say my soul passionate friends, right? Those people are the people who are in the same field of work, and they're also passionate, almost like the same similar thing, but they understand and they know what it means to get there. And even if they are still in the process, it's all about, let's go. I wanna get you to one up me while I'll try to get myself to one up you. Does that make sense? So it's almost like, I've always said that like these friends are in a friendly competitive mode. And it's not that it's like anything that comes from like uh, malicious like energy or anything like that. These friends are what I say are really fun to keep around. These are your soul passionate friends. So I've noticed that the friends that I hang out with, we always do this thing where we like one up each other, but it's out of love, because I see that when they see me do something great and I accomplish something, and then they go back to themselves again where they're like, watch me get something and things like that. To me though, those are a friendly battle, friendly like one up, and that's how we've been pushing each other up. And until this day, I still love them. We're still doing the same thing, and it's great to support and love and show the same passion. Right now at this moment, make sure the friends that you are surrounded with are in the same level of energy. Not but this is why you have balance. I have my soul love friends that's here since like childhood and home, and when I come home, we dance together and things like that. We have dinner and things like that. We talk about our life career goals. They're still going to motivate you. And then you have your passionate friends that actually will understand like what it means, and we'll have conversation. We'll ask each other like, okay, what's your next step, what's your next goal, like what else is there for you. Those friends are so important to have, especially that in between. And then you have your soul wisdom friends. It's already made it in life, and they're giving you advices, they're giving you opportunities, they're educating you on things. Those people are also very important, and you always got to show appreciation of them gifting you these life lessons because they've done it. And it's because I surround myself with the soul passionate friends, because we got ourselves there to reach this energy here, the soul wisdom friend, if that makes sense. Not that the people that you are connected with before don't have wisdom, they do, but the people who've already established has more of that life experience and what they have gone through, and you've learned from that. I hope this all makes sense. So it's so important to check in with the people that you hang out with. And let's just say like you're hanging out with friends who kind of just like, that at a steady pace, and they're kind of on a lull, and not that you should get rid of them, but sometimes you also need to check in with them like, hey, is everything okay? Because your energy is really affecting me, and I want to change that. If you see or recognize a family or a friend that their energy is at a lull, and they're kind of like more on the slumpy side about with their career goals and things like that, light a fire up their ass, because maybe it's your job to get them there, but you're not always going to be there. And I recognize that you can only do so much, and if they're not on that same pace, then it's time for you to just, okay, I'm just gonna have to shift this energy. I still love you here, I will always come back to you, but then you're gonna have to recognize that I'm gonna have to step away from you for a little bit. So also be honest with each other when it comes to these type of energy. I've always said this before. Always pay attention to someone who have always said that, hey, let's go out and eat, and they have always complain about, I'm broke. I refrain from saying that, because when you say you're broke, it's going to come with a lot of broken things and broken energies. So you might be broke with finance, but the more you say that, you're going to invite broken things into your life. Change your ways on how you speak out into the universe, because that's what they're going to give right back to you. Shit. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. I don't even remember what I was saying. But that's had always been on my mind with this topic. Surround yourself with like-minded people, because it's going to uplift you where you want to be in your life. I hope this episode finds you well. If you had not already subscribed to my podcast, please do. If you are listening to this, it could be on YouTube or Spotify. Like and share. It would really mean so much to me to spread my content out to the world. So I see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.